Our project is QR based automatic parking system, and this is the list of our group members. This is the block diagram of our project. So basically our project consists of three parking areas. Each parking area has its own metal detector and an ESP32. Each of these ESP32 sends the parking area information like it's free or not to the gateway using ESP now communication protocol. It's a low power 2.4 GHz based communication protocol, and the gateway sends the currently free parking area information to the ThingSpeaks. When an user scans the QR code, he will get the information of the currently free parking area out of these three. Also, we can easily connect more parking area without changing any code. This is the block diagram of our gateway. Our gateway consists of two ESP32. One of the ESP32 is used to receive the parking area information using ESP now communication protocol. Now the currently free parking area information is sent to another ESP32 using UART communication. Now this ESP32 sends that currently free parking area information to the ThingSpeak. Now when a user scans the QR code, he will get the currently free parking information in his phone. This is the code for the parking area node, which will send the information about its current occupied state to the gateway using ESP now communication. So to use ESP now, we have to include ESP now library, and also we need to include the MAC address of the gateway. So the ESP which is receiving the data, we have to include the address of that. So we found this using another code. Now the message which we want to send, we have to include it in the struct. So we will send the park ID and the park status. Park ID is the which parking area we this message belongs to. It will represent that, and the park status will represent like if the parking area is occupied or not. In the void setup, we declare pin D4 as input because at pin D4 we have our metal detector connected. So when we have a car, it will detect and it will send the data to pin D4, which will check if the car if the area is occupied or not. Then using Wi-Fi, then we initialize the Wi-Fi and the ESP now. Then in void loop, we get the parking status by reading the pin digital pin 4, and we set our status according to that. So if there is a car, the park status will be high or 1, and that will be stored to the struct. And for different parking area, we have different IDs. So for this example, we have ID 3. Now after getting these two values, we are sending it to the gateway using ESP now. So using this command, we are sending it to the ESP now with our broadcast address and with our struct. So we are doing here some error handling. So if data was sent successfully, it will print send with success. If it's not sent, it will send error with the sending, and it will send the data every 2 seconds. This is the code at the receiver's end. uh, we have the same struct over here to receive our park ID and park status, and we are using ESP now communication. So initially we are initializing these variables with zeros because we have not received any value. So we'll initialize every single of this variable with zeros. Then using a command on data receive, we are receiving the data, and then using this if statements, we are determining if the received parking is free or not. If the parking is free, then we are storing that parking information to current free object. We have created this object struct object over here, as you can see. Now after storing the current free information, we are sending it to the slave ESP32 using UART communication. So we are using UART2, so we are defined that in here CL port 2 for UART2. So, so with this, we are using CL port.print. We are sending the currently free parking ID information to the slave ESP32. And in this setup, as you can see, we have initialized the struct with zeros using initialized free. Then we have started the ESP now communication, and we are calling a function which will be called when a data is received from the parking area. So this is the code for the ESP32 slave, which will receive the currently free parking ID information from the master ESP32 using UART communication. Also, it will send the data to ThingSpeak. So for that, we have included ThingSpeak's library. So to send to ThingSpeak, we have to connect to the our Wi-Fi router. So I have added my SSID and password for that. And this is my ThingSpeak channel and write API key. Here we are starting our ThingSpeak communication also. So when we receive the data, we are gonna receive the data in the form of ASCII format. So we have to convert this ASCII format to number. So we have to subtract ASCII value of 0 from that received number. So that will give our currently free parking ID. Now this parking ID will send you to the ThingSpeak using the ThingSpeak.write field command, and we'll do it in a loop. This is the final project. As you can see, we have three metal detector connected to individual ESP32s. This send the parking information data to the gateway, and the gateway sends the data to the cloud. Now when the user scans the QR code, he will get the currently free parking information on his phone. Now these two aluminum bars represent the cars. So let's put it on the parking 1 and parking 2, and then let's scan the QR code. As you can see, it shows the parking 3 is free. Now let's put the bars on parking 1 and parking 3, and let's scan the code again and check the results. As you can see, it shows parking 2 is free.